We're only a few days away from the real opening day of the new Major League Baseball season, so this episode is going to be a simple one. Predictions. I'm going to try and not be as wrong as maybe I was last year, and I promise I'm not going to be an entirely biased so-and-so. So let's not waste any time with this one. Let's jump right in and let's talk baseball.
Corner the national pastime went on trial. We're talking baseball. Klazuski, Campanella talking baseball. The man and Bobby Feller.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Let's Talk Baseball. I am your host, Tom Scholes, and we've just got predictions on my mind right now. We're approaching the week leading up to opening day, where from opening day up until October, it's going to be nothing but baseball, and then it becomes playoff baseball, the best playoffs there are. So, we've got a lot to jump into, we've got a lot to look at, we've got a lot to figure out, and it's not going to be the standard going through each division and picking who's going to win, because let's be honest, there's only a handful of divisions that are really, really tight. You look at, the American League East is tight. You might have a battle between the Phillies and the Braves. You might have a battle between... You're not going to have a battle between anybody and the Dodgers in the National League West. The American League West might actually be quite fun with the Rangers, the Astros, and the Mariners. But this is just about the players. This is about the awards. This is about who I think are going to have a really good season and everything along those lines. So we're going to jump in first with the American League MVP. Now, I looked on Fox Sports before this just to get a gauge of what people are going with, and I hate the fact that I agree with Ben Verlander on something. He has selected Juan Soto, newly of the New York Yankees, to be his American League MVP. He's my pick to the American League MVP. Mainly because Shohei Ohtani's not in the American League anymore, and it kind of opens it up a bit more to a lot of other people. Corey Seager would have won it last year if Ohtani wasn't there. You've got Judge, who looks in inspired form this postseason, this spring training. I jumped the gun a bit there with the postseason stuff. Other candidates, I've gone for Soto, but you could easily go for Judge. You could easily go for someone like Adley Rutschman, might take a leap that way. You could go with an old favourite like Jose Altuve. You could go with one of the Rangers. Corey Seager's another one that could be there. Adolis Garcia had a great postseason. How will he translate that into the regular season of the reigning and defending champions? But another player that has been mentioned that I think is a good shout for this is Julio Rodriguez of the Seattle Mariners. An absolute superstar, a stud, a really, really enjoyable player to watch, a really enjoyable player to go out of your way to watch. He's made the Mariners a really fun team to get involved with. And even people like Vlad Guerrero Jr. And, no player has won an MVP in his first season with his new team since Vlad Guerrero Sr. in 2004 with the Angels. But I think Soto is probably the best option to break that record 20 years on. And, he's looked incredible in spring training. He looks like he loves playing for this team. The fans are going to get all behind him. They're going to absolutely adore him. They already love him, but they're going to love him even more when the season rolls around. I think he's going to really flourish in Yankee Stadium, and he's my pick for American League MVP. Across the other leagues now, National League MVP. This one's harder. Because there seems to be more stars over in the National League, or at least more closely knit stars, in the sense of you could name 5 players who could all be in with a shout of winning it. Ronald Acuna Jr., Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani, Matt Olson, Fernando Tatis Jr., Betts has the best odds, but I think what's going to suffer he's going to suffer from, and I think it's a problem that a lot of the Dodgers are going to suffer from, is there's a lot of stars on that team. The reason Shohei Ohtani was so loved at the Angels and so recognisable at the Angels. One, because he was amazing, he was performing amazingly well, but it was him and Mike Trout. That's it. 2 golden peas in a pretty damp pod. He's not in that situation anymore. The expectation is going to be different. He's going to have to compete with his own teammates for this award. And it's the same thing that Betts and Freeman are going to have. They can put up MVP seasons, but, in the Premier League we had it in '99, where there were so many good players on Man United's team that David Ginola won the Player of the Year in 1999 because no one could vote for one person in particular. That's what might happen here. My pick, Ronald Acuna Jr. If he wins MVP, he will make history. He would be just the 14th player to win back-to-back MVPs since the Baseball Writers Association issued the award in 1931. He has the best odds. I know I said Betts did, but I read the odds wrong. Betts has the second best odds. Acuna Jr. has the best odds. Ohtani has the third best odds. And I don't know. Something about it tells me Acuna Jr. is going to have another good year and the Braves are going to have another really good year. American League Cy Young is up next. This one's a bit different. And this one's actually quite difficult. Because my pick, if you'd have asked me 2 weeks ago, I knew who my pick was going to be. Gerrit Cole. This week, absolutely not. I have no idea who's going to win it. The betting favourite is Kevin Gausman of the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm not going to go with the conventional pick. I'm going to go with the newly acquired Corbin Burns of the Baltimore Orioles, rather. He won the National League Cy Young in 2021. And I just think the impetus of being on a new team and being in a situation where he can really be the ace of a situation, be the ace on a really good team, on a 100-win team, I think is going to push him over the edge. He's going to be my pick, but I need to have a look at the odds because I don't actually really know who the top odds would be. Gosman's top, Framber Valdez is second, Corbin Burns is third, Tariq Skubal of the Detroit Tigers. That's a it's not an awful pick. It's not an awful pick to have. Shane Bieber is there at 3,000. If you really want to go out there, Carlos Rodon is at plus 5,000. I wouldn't. But I think this is a wide open race. This one, I think this is a race that you could pick anybody to win. It's not as clear cut, in my opinion, as the National League Cy Young Award, which is going to go to the Spencer Strider of the Atlanta Braves. I think he is a fantastic pitcher. I think he's a fun player to watch. I think being part of a good team also helps because he can put up his numbers and be backed up by a really, really historically good offense. So I think that goes in his favour. On the Fox Sport website, one of them have picked Yoshinobu Yamamoto of the Los Angeles Dodgers. And as we record this, Thursday morning, as the second game of the Seoul series is taking place, I would just like to let everybody know that at the bottom of the first, it's 5-1 to the Padres, as our boy, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, gave up 5 runs. Yep. He gave up 4 hits, 5 runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. His ERA is 45. No, I'm not gonna rule him out, but not the best start. That's not why I'm picking him. I think the adjustment from Japan to America might be a bit of a jump to go from Japanese superstar first league, first time in the bigs to then just immediately being the Cy Young. I think, especially in the division that has a lot of good pitching in it, you've got my pick, Spencer Strider. You've got Logan Webb of the San Francisco Giants, his newly acquired teammate in Blake Snell. I think, Strider's the favourite, and I realise I'm picking the favourites for this, and I don't intend to. I just think they write themselves. They write themselves. Yeah, for example, maybe not many people would have picked Blake Snell to have won it last year. But just looking at the odds, Spencer Strider's top, Zach Wheeler of the Phillies is second. They've got Logan Webb as third favourite. Yamamoto's fourth favourite. I assume those odds will go down the moment they update after the start he's just had. Zach Gallen of the Diamondbacks is another good shout. I really liked him last year. I think what might struggle in his regard will be the expectation that is now on that team because of the season they had last year. Tyler Glasnow, Max Fried mentioned. I think Glasnow's a really good pick. He looked really good against the Padres in Seoul Game 1. Some of the pitches he didn't get called were disgusting. They were so good. Justin Steele of the Cubs is another good pick. Dylan Cease on the Padres is another one. Aaron Nola of the Phillies. See, this is what I was on about in terms of the differences between the National League and the American League. The American League have a lot of good players, but the National League seems to have more stars in it. I think the better teams are over in that division. One guy I've just seen on here that might not necessarily be my pick, but I think would be good to look out for. Chris Sale of the Braves. If he picks up, if he does really well, you never know. I think that Braves team is going to be dangerous this year. I think they're going to be really good. I think they're going to be really fun, and I think they're going to take the National League by storm. We'll move on now to the American League. The American League Rookie of the Year. This is fun because to me it was down to two players, maybe three. Jackson Holliday of the Baltimore Orioles, yet another player that the Orioles have produced who looks like an absolute stud. Wyatt Langford of the Texas Rangers, who has been tipped to perform very well this year, but doesn't seem to be holding back on it. Everything I've seen from him in spring training has signified that he's a stud and he's going to play well and he has the confidence to play well on a very good team. And the third one is Evan Carter, who I think will fly under the radar a little bit because everybody got so used to him in the postseason. I think people are going to look at him and kind of not necessarily forget that he's a rookie of the year candidate, but they're going to look at Holiday, who's already coming in with the hype around him. Evan Carter has the big league experience. He has the big moment experience, and he's used to playing in that team. I think my pick is going to be... Wyatt Langford. It was a toss-up between those three, but I think he's going to be Langford. The reason is he's new. And that sounds stupid because obviously Jackson Holliday's new, and strictly speaking, Evan Carter's new. But the difference is Evan Carter's in the minds of a lot of people, and he's already familiar. So they're not going to want to give it to a guy that they believe has already done bits in the postseason. Jackson Holliday is going to be another Baltimore Oriole that is going to be high up on this list. And I think, and this is just me predicting how the writers and the award givers think, they're not going to want to give it to another Oriole. They're going to want to shake it up because that's what these kind of things, these things happen in these awards. I think they're going to give it to Langford, who's going to be a really good player on a really good team as well. I think they're going to be a really good team this year as well, the Rangers. Maybe not retain the title good, but still very good. So my pick for that is Wyatt Langford. Rookie of the Year in the National League, I'm going to go with the Chicago Cubs outfielder, Pete Crow Armstrong. Yes, Yamamoto does classify as a Rookie of the Year, but I cannot sit here and kind of poo-poo his first start in Major League Baseball and then go, oh yeah, by the way, but he's going to be my Rookie of the Year. I think he is the favourite to win the award, but I think you've got someone like Jackson Merrill, who is a starting player for the Padres. He's got good versatility. Get easy for me to say, but he's got that oomph about him to be able to be a really top player in a team that I think might fly under the radar for a lot of people. Having watched them yesterday, I think they've probably got a lot more talent than even I had remembered and recognised before this sole series. But my pick is going to be Pete Crow Armstrong for the Cubs. I think they're going to be a really good team this year, and I think he's going to play an integral part of this success. On the Fox website, they have the World Series matchup and the World Series winner. I have been thinking about this, and I have a big thing about I don't want anybody to go back-to-back. I think there's something special in the World Series being able to be won by anybody. I've witnessed the Kansas City Chiefs go back-to-back and create their dynasty in Phoenix and in Las Vegas in the Super Bowl. We have seen the Golden State Warriors dominate in the NBA. We've seen Manchester City dominate in the Premier League. We've seen Real Madrid dominate in the Champions League. The fact that Major League Baseball doesn't have many people that go back-to-back, I think is quite valuable. I think it's quite special. I'm going to maintain that this year. I don't think the Rangers are going to get there. I think from the National League, is going to be... I think it's going to be the Atlanta Braves. I think this is the year they go over the top. I think a lot of people will be looking at the Dodgers and a lot of people will be expecting the Dodgers. I think precisely because they have that expectation on them, something is going to go wrong. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's going to be another divisional series defeat. I think they're going to go to the championship series. I just think they're going to be pipped by a more all-round team who have threats all down the lineup. Not that the Dodgers don't, but there's a lot of emphasis on the Dodgers' front three and Yamamoto and Glasnow. A really good front three, a really good pitching. But there's a lot of ifs with that Dodgers lineup, in my opinion. You've got Betts, you've got Freeman, you've got Ohtani. Will Smith is carrying around in there. They've got some good players, but it's not as stacked as the Braves. And I think what happened last year against the Phillies is going to drive them on to go back and win the World Series this year. Who are they going to face? I'm just going to say it. I don't think the New York Yankees are going to be in the World Series. I don't think they've got the pitching for it. I think they've got the offense for it, but I don't think they've got the pitching for it. As of right now, there are reports linking them to Jordan Montgomery as I record this on Thursday morning. As of right now, that's not happened. If that was to happen, maybe I would change my opinion. If there's ifs with the Dodgers, there's lots of ifs with the Yankees. A lot of if this happens, if the team stays fit, if Soto lives up to expectation, if Cole comes back from his month or two layoff and hits the ground running, if Stroman and Rodon hit the ground running again and just take the team and lead it forward, then maybe. But I don't think so. I'd love to, but I don't think so. So who do I think is going to get there? I don't think it'll be the Rangers. I don't think it'll be the Astros. The Baltimore Orioles. I'm going to go for the Baltimore Orioles will get to the World Series. They were fantastic last year. They didn't quite get over the postseason hump. I think the inexperience of the situation is why that happened. But I think they're a fantastically good team. They're a really fun team. And I think this might be the year they go over the top. And I think this might be the year they reach the World Series. Maybe not win it, that might come down the line, but they're a really fun young team that's developing into something special. So that and those are my really quick, really run down through version of my picks for the award winners and everything like that in the Major League Baseball. I've made my pick for the World Series. The Atlanta Braves are going to be the champions of baseball in 2024. And if it doesn't happen, Braves fans, you can blame me, I guess. But who knows? I will be keeping an eye on these. I will be making notes of all of these. See how many I get right. See how many I get wrong. See how wrong I am or how right I am with them. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you are listening, the outro song will be playing right now. And if you are watching, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, all the usual stuff. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.